What's up, you guys? This is the Authentic Empress. So, as you can tell by the caption, there's definitely some low vibrational karmic energies casting some type of bad health magic on divine feminines, divine masculines. I can only really vouch for the feminines right now. There's something about trying to create some type of disruption or delay in your career. Okay, something that's very needed that you do. Okay, I don't know why someone could be staking you out, staking out your if you're a content creator, someone could be staking out your content, staking out your social media, your story, just trying to dig up and derive any information to confirm that something was successful, okay, especially with your health and stuff like that. So there's that. So there's definitely bad health magic being casted, as well as disruption spells. Now, if you're wondering, if you're someone who's very diligent and fervent in prayer, you could be wondering, why was this able to get through? Okay, so there may be someone that you had some type of, they're showing me the handshake, like that infamous handshake symbol. There's something about an alliance, something about someone that you're connected to. Okay, this doesn't have to be an established connection either. Let's say this is your hairstylist. Let's say this is someone that you see once a month, someone who's going to be in a very delicate area of your energy, right? Your crown, or that's just an example, okay? It doesn't have to be a stylist. However, the point is, it's something about causing something to manifest through a more weaker soul or weaker vessel. So even though they may not been able to disrupt you directly, there may have been a disruption with a particular person that you were supposed to connect with, okay, whether romantic, platonic, or business, okay. Doesn't have to be, like I said, anything established. Okay, so besides that, there is a low vibrational karmic energy that is confounded. Confounded as in this person is perplexed, this person is confused, this person is dumbfounded. This person is trying to process and understand, why is something not working on this masculine, on a particular masculine, like it's worked for other masculines that they've done something to. Okay, whether this is some type of glamour magic, love spells, some type of lustful seduction, Jezebel energy. It's like, even if someone was able to, it's like somebody wasn't able to get a masculine to go all the way. Let's say that, and this is very triggering to this person. Okay, this could be somebody who has a very false sense of confidence. Okay, they could be very arrogant, cocky even, and a lot of their arrogance may come from their appearance. Okay, this is somebody who has to heavily rely on their body, their sexual energy, or there's something about just wanting to come off as seductive and irresistible. Okay, and this person may do this with some type of glamour magic, things of that nature. However, even if, again, there was some type of weak point or access point that they were able to locate with this person, like, let's really talk about it. Okay, everybody masculine, especially if you're coming from a divine feminist masculine that she's supposed to, that, the divine put her and this person together. If you are an Empress energy, like, let's be realistic. The divine is putting you with what? The divine is going to put you with an emperor. So this is not just some king. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody got the game fucked up, because one of the goals was definitely to separate you, create discordance, or space, or even cause you to turn your back on this person. But what somebody doesn't realize is that they're not just dealing with any feminine, they're not just dealing with any masculine. So even if there's silence or a no contact energy between you and this person, there's telepathic communication. Okay, there's a lot of prayer going on. Both of you guys are very prayerful. Okay, we're talking about Empress and Emperor energy. Okay, so that means even if something is going on that's affecting you, you know, as the leader, right? If something is directly impacting the Empress, if something is directly impacting the Emperor, it's like, yes, these individuals can retreat, you know, go into hermit, you know, with their spirit team and things of that nature, and even have it respected by people who are real tribe, like genuine tribe, right? When you're running an empire, you can't just completely, you know, abandon your responsibility. So somebody is realizing this, like, somebody's just upset that this lust magic or trying to seduce somebody did not work. It did not get them to the point of sex. Okay, it did not get them to the point of crossing the line. You get what I'm saying? So this could be why you may still pick up on a masculine or a feminist energy and stuff like that. So it's something about a lot of mirroring that's going on. So yeah, but I'm getting like you will have in and out moments of realizing this and not realizing this at the same time, right? There's something about context clues that's heavily significant that the divine provided you in them before all of these people got involved, you know, or try to stick their nose in. Now, context clues about one another, about each other's character, about your conservativeness or how you're someone to preserve yourself. Okay, y'all may be energies that are not so quick to hop on somebody else. Okay, fuck the past, fuck what happened in the past. Right now, y'all may both be individuals that are not so quick to give up your sexual energy. You're not so quick to do that, right? Because we're talking about an Empress, Emperor energy. So somebody is confused because their spiritual logic and understanding is very, very low. It's very little. Okay, this is somebody who's used to dealing with masculines who are religious, who are quote unquote grew up in the church. You know, they maybe come from a Christian background, da 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 da. And but you know how it's a lot of people who are religious, but they're just as wicked. You get what I'm saying? But they kind of use religion as a cloak, right? So somebody is used to being able to seduce. Somebody even gets off on being able to seduce a masculine that's quote unquote religious or again more conservative, da 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 da. Like somebody could even have like a bashfulness, a shy energy to them, but can still be very authoritative. I feel like this bashfulness and this shyness comes from this heart chakra innocence of this person. Yeah, because this is not a shy person. Like this is somebody who actually is very bold. Okay, this is a provider energy. This is an energy that has to move with strategy because we're talking about the emperor that's running an empire. Okay, so you know, as a divine feminine, you know, all these attacks and the warfare that you experience from groups or random people who, you know, have found out about you, have come across you and were triggered spiritually, whatever the case may be, whoever volunteered to be an enemy or a problem in your life, it's the same energy with this divine masculine, okay? So it's not a coincidence that all these people are butting their noses in. And of course, they have to masquerade it as caring and being compassionate. They have to masquerade themselves as light with this emperor in order to kind of sneak up under his nose. But this is somebody who is very observant. This is somebody that even when they peep what's going on, they not going to say shit. This is somebody who will still have a casual, you know, conversation with you, and you don't even realize you playing yourself. You don't even realize this person is evaluating, analyzing, or they've already read your energy before you've even approached them or before they approach you with a conversation. Okay, this is somebody who gives people the benefit of the doubt, quote unquote, and they just simply have people take advantage of that, just like the divine feminine. Okay, this is not somebody who's just completely swindled by masochist energy, or men who are just disruptive. This is not one of those people. This is a family oriented person. This is someone who's a natural born leader who can lead groups and organizations. Okay, this is somebody who's okay with being in the background and in the spotlight. This is not somebody who's overly consumed with arrogance that they feel like they only have to be in the front. And if this person has been mirroring this energy in any type of way, again, there was just some type of deception, and not just any level of deception. Like, this was supposed to be a higher level of deception for this particular energy. Okay, why do I say that? Because in that dream that I had, because Spirit keeps bringing that dream back to me and just showing me different revelations from the dream. So in that dream that I had about being in a house, and the masculine that I know that I'm connected to and his friends were all on the lowest floor within this house, and they were talking about me. They were basically trying their best to convince this person to basically to deter them from me. Okay, and it's given that the masculine was like kind of in two energies about it. Like, he was, trying to maintain some type of balance. But there's some type of confusion, magic that's binded with trauma. Okay, using this person's trauma or trauma from their history to seem convincing, and to this person deceive them into thinking that the people that are bringing them this false information about you, that they're being genuine with their intentions. Like, they genuinely just want them to be good, right? They're just looking out for their highest good, even though this was the complete opposite of the actual reality. Okay, there's definitely two individuals who did a lot of the talking. Okay, so even if there is a group or there's multiple energies that's been like kind of slowly but surely, or just flat out influencing this person, there is two main energies that's significant. Okay, possibly even three. And the two main energies can be masculine energies. It could be like homeboy, brother energy, right? Now, in the dream, there was a feminine that was sitting on a few floors up, and she was sitting there by herself, and she was kind of crouched like next to the bars of the stairway, and just watching, like looking down at these masculines and these group of people having this conversation. And so this karmic energy was supposed to be like a secret weapon, but it failed. It wasn't powerful enough. It wasn't strong enough. Now, mind you, in the dream, even though that feminine energy, okay, this Jezebel energy, was a few floors up from, oh wow, was a few floors up from this group of individuals who were intentionally trying to deter or confuse this person. You, the divine feminine, myself, I was on the highest floor. I was on the highest level, the highest floor, overseeing not only the group of people on the very lower level, but also overseeing the feminine. And the thing is, these people weren't able to see me. These people were able to see me. However, after I sat there and I listened, I observed. So this part of the dream is literally like God giving you downloads, giving you dreams, giving you visions, giving you confirmation through you and this person about these people ganging up together to work against you and this individual, okay, or to try and cash you out or outcast you, right? So while I was sitting there observing and overhearing them talking bad about me, now we're also talking about individuals who don't even know you personally, because that's besides the point. That's besides the point. At the end of the day, behind every successful man is a loving, loyal, faithful wife. Okay, it's giving that energy. Behind every emperor, a truly long lasting, an emperor who manages to maintain longevity in their empire. Okay, somebody who's very determined to keep building regardless of what crumbles or what happens. Okay, even if they need to retreat, even if they need to pull back. Because when you think about creating blueprints, when you think about creating plans, or just being available to God for your next move, for your next step, especially when you're dealing with people who are under your care, people whom you are responsible for, there's going to require moments where you need to retreat so that it's just you and God. So is that it's just you and your spirit team. This is what this divine masculine does. Okay, so this karmic feminine underestimated how authentic this divine masculine is with his prayer life. Because she doesn't have a genuine prayer life. This is somebody who do the basic shit. Oh, thank God. I'm so grateful. Thank you, God. You know, and a lot of it is showy. A lot of it is performative praise. Whereas this masculine, his praise is truly internal. His praise is truly from the heart chakra. This is somebody that's connected to Archangel Michael. This is somebody who can request visions, dreams, and receive them immediately. This is somebody who can call on angels when they're in the dream state and those angels show up. This is not somebody who gets ignored, okay, by God. This is not somebody who gets ignored by the divine archangels. This is somebody who, in a way, they have a spiritual ranking that's very much so similar to yours. Their prayers are able to penetrate, right, and reach God. So this was a plot twist for these group of people. This was a plot twist for this karmic feminine. And she's literally confounded. She's triggered. She's feeling insecure. She's projecting all that energy and definitely projecting hostility. So if some type of hostility try to break out around you, that's why. Because of the energy that was sent. And the best way to handle that energy, like I said in a recent video, don't give them any energy at all. Okay? This is it's a reason why there's separation. There's a reason why you're in this come out from among them energy, or God has pulled you out from among, you know, groups and masses, or just the status quo, so to speak, right? Yeah. You have to conserve your energy. And again, a heavy emphasis on responsibility, heavy emphasis on integrity, heavy emphasis on the understanding of why it's critical to still show up for people who are reliant on you, right? So yeah, this person not dealing with just any masculine. She may have gotten this person to hang out with her, talk to her on the phone, blah 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 blah, whatever. But this is somebody who, you know, they really kind of this is somebody who knows, who has, even if this person challenges with self-love, if this masculine has some type of swapped illusion, somebody swapped out something, somebody tried to project their insecurities on this masculine, or their lack of self-love to make him feel like he don't love himself. But this is somebody who does know their worth. This is somebody who knows their worth, and a lot of their worth that really sticks comes from their prayer life. It comes from seeing, you know, God show up for them after they pray. This is somebody who literally sits and watches and wait for God to come through. Like for God to answer their prayer, give them some type of sign and stuff like that. Like, and this is somebody who shows a lot of gratitude for that energy. This is a masculine who has prophetic dreams. Okay. Why is there? So there's something significant about Daniel from the Bible. My massage therapist today, his name was Daniel. Yeah, and I feel like with that, there's just something about special effects of the emperor, the divine masculine or the divine feminine. There's something about special effects that these people didn't plan for, and these special effects are truly rooted in your prayer life. It's rooted in the word. In the beginning, there was the word, and the word was with God. These are individuals who are very intentional with their words. These are individuals who are able to pull down strongholds with their prayers. They're very detailed. They're very particular. Okay. This is somebody who would even push the grain in their prayer, right? Like really, really keep it organic and authentic, right? These are energies that pray about everything. Okay. There's also an energy of you and this masculine praying together. You guys that was a part of y'all's connection, prayer. Y'all would pray for each other if you guys hung out, if y'all slept together, like in the bed together, spending time together, if y'all hung out or even on the phone sometimes. There's something about this masculine praying over you and him. Okay, y'all have this type of dynamic. Okay, like where they trust you praying for them and you trust this masculine praying for you. It doesn't feel manipulative. It doesn't feel insincere. It doesn't feel like this person is masquerading as something that they're not through prayer. Okay. So somebody underestimated that because, again, just because these people managed to create some type of no contact between you and this person, the real test is how do you guys go about defending what's yours, or defending your empire? Because I feel like your empire is that Four Wands energy, it's that Ten of Pentacles, it's the Ten of Cups energy, it's that Ace of Pentacles, right? It's that Ace of Wands leadership and all of those. Yeah, so basically what y'all did before y'all reconnected in this lifetime, y'all continue to do that when there was some type of disconnect. Both of y'all already had a prayerful life and connection with the divine before reconnecting in this lifetime. So when this separation was created, y'all still had that secret weapon, so to speak. Okay, very viable weapon. Okay, especially when we're talking about the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. This is a karmic feminine who tried to approach some type of warfare with carnal weapons. Because it usually works with weak spirited masculines. If you throw some pussy in their face, okay, if you offer to suck them off, whatever the case may be, a lot of masculines, because of how weak spirited they are, and they just want that feeling of intimacy. And there's been a lot of confusion, intentionally scripted, for this person to choose in their life, because again, free will is still a thing. So you're going to be presented with a path from the divine, and you're going to be presented with a path from satanic energy, right? A lot of masculines, even feminists, a lot of people, they take the bait. All right, you put some money in their face, you put some expensive ass bags in her face. You offer to, like whatever. Like it's the same. It's the same shit. But for the most part, either money with feminists or pussy. Some type of sexual validation or gratification for masculines. Okay, so. Another thing too is about the timing of the separation. So considering all of these quote unquote exposure and reveal of HIV rates and stuff like that. So there's just been a lot more little by little, like coming out or just coming back to, full circuits. So for example, the other day, well, this is really yesterday. Yesterday, when I was getting my wax, so I have two estheticians or wax specialists that I now go to. I have one solid one, a Pisces, and now the other one is a Taurian because she threads my eyebrows as well. So she's telling me about, so we're talking about like horror stories in our service industry, right? Just due to people, not really being considerate, not only of themselves and their hygiene, but of you, and bringing that to you and exposing you to possible, possible bacteria, I don't know, something that can throw you off or harm you some way. So she was telling me about how she had a client come to her right after she left her boyfriend's house, and how this lady really laid on her table to get a Brazilian wax and literally had this man's sperm oozing out of her vagina. And so she asked her, hey, uh, did you just have intercourse? Da, 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 da. And she was like, yeah, well, she already mentioned about leaving her boyfriend's house. So she asked her about it because of the sperm, like, oozing out of her, okay, on this wax table. And basically confirmed that they did just have intercourse. And so she had to basically deny her services because that's a hazard. Don't get on my table for a Brazilian wax and you got cum coming out of your vagina and it's just oozing out. We don't know nothing about that cum. We don't know. I'm sorry, YouTube, but we don't know nothing about that sperm. We don't know nothing about that. Now, again, I mentioned HIV rates and stuff like that, right? She was telling me So I'm in the state of Georgia. So I'm aware of the extreme number of new cases of HIV, all of that. But she was telling me about the county that I'm in. And I was like, what? And I feel like, in a way, it has crossed my mind. So it's like I kind of manifested that conversation. And so she recommended me or referred me to a video that went into more detail about counties around Georgia, and the more exact numbers, right? So again, there could have been some type of separation right before all these numbers came out, okay, about people's sexual health status. So that's what it is. Thank you, Divine. Okay. So the reason why, so what they're using to fuel this bad health magic is literally because they're experiencing something with their health. And it could be their sexual health, but they're experiencing something with their health and they're trying to project it onto something that not only can hold it but can transmute it. So they're trying to project that onto the Empress energies, right? Because think about Empress and think about Earth energy. Think about Taurus and Libra. Okay, Libra creates balance. Taurian energy is literally like Mother Gaia, okay, nurturing, fertility, all these things. It's a reason why these two signs depict the Venus or Venusian energy, the highest form of love, so to speak, right? Love and beauty and all that, okay? We're able to alchemize things, okay? Empress energy alchemizes, Empress energy transmutes, Empress energy grows things, okay? Whatever seeds you provide to that Empress, she can grow it. You bring her a plant like, hey, I think you will really enjoy this banana plant, like this banana tree, things like that. We discerningly and selectively receive, and we feed it. We create prosperity from that. Okay, so somebody by so desperately trying to study you and mimic how you are in order to seduce this masculine, they confuse themselves with thinking that you're like them, that you handle things and go about things the way that they do. Okay, even trying to create situations through projection, conjuring, casting, whatever the case may be, to get you to step out of character or put you in a situation where things just go left, right? Yeah, somebody confused themselves with their own image. Yeah, thinking that you was going to handle something the way that they will handle it, and they wanted to show up as if they are the more spiritually mature and stuff like that. As the Empress actually is. Okay. So another thing too, so I'm going to be going back to things that kind of opened up, that I mentioned, and completing them. So there's something about that energy that's significant as well. Something about you going back and tilling something or adding something, sharpening something, stripping away like dead ends or whatever, or just tuning something about your purpose, your career, or whatever that you do, or even yourself. Okay, so this could just be being more self-conscious and responsible with your well-being and your upkeep. Okay, so practicing yoga, breath work, stretching, and this is not eliminating the efforts or the things that you already do. Let's say there are already things that you do that contribute to your health, but this is talking about returning to a state where you're even more, I guess I could say more strict. You're even more, like you're cleaning up or you're smoothing out the rough patches basically that may have been collected through the trauma of spiritual warfare, okay, through evil eye and people literally trying to destroy you from the inside out. Okay, so for example, I started feeling under the weather and stuff like that, and something strange that had happened just a while ago, well, maybe a couple hours ago before I took a nap. Something strange that happened was and this is going to be kind of TMI, you guys, but my nipples were like really, really sore. And that's strange. Now, I'm celibate. I haven't had sex with anyone since, whom I believe to be my divine masculine. So it's been a couple months ago. I haven't, slept with anybody else. I don't intend to. So It's nothing to do with that. And that's the thing. Somebody, again, because this is how they move. Okay, you know that saying of to get over somebody, lay up under somebody else. Y'all could have even been coming across certain content, videos, commentary, okay, on your social media or just in conversation in passing, okay, in whatever, okay, signs. You know how God can give us signs on license plates, billboards, whatever, okay, just being in proximity to somebody's conversation. It doesn't matter, right? But somebody was hoping that you was just gonna move how they move, right? If they could create or uphold enough confusion and delay between you and this person, they was hoping that either one of you was gonna break. Now she was working on him because she wanted him. Okay, she wanted his ride. But they were definitely even sending like false prospects to you and stuff like that to tempt you. And it was more so the temptation of intimacy, like just wanting, like if you're feminine, craving some type of interaction with masculine energy. If you are a masculine, craving some type of energy with feminine energy. Why? Because that's just natural. That's the organic thing to do, right? So somebody was hoping they could blur the lines with this after creating some type of separation, confusion, and even lies. Okay, this was desperate energy. They were desperately working on this masculine, this feminine, this emperor, because it's obvious that this person is an emperor, this person has an empire, this person empire is going to expand. Okay, but here's also something about that with what comes with that expansion. Okay, it can only expand so much without the empress. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about masculine energy. Let's talk about how masculine energy is air and fire, and feminine energy is water and earth. What the fuck is a masculine going to do? What is he going to do? How far can he go and grow without his feminine? Make it make sense. Exactly. So if you think about just that fire and that air, and there's a lack of that earth and that water energy, that can create, that's a recipe for chaos. This person could have even and what I'm getting to, I'm getting like a controlled rage. I feel like this is a masculine energy who has a controlled rage. Like when they rage out, if they get to that point or when they're finally pushed to that point, there's still some level of control and discipline. This could be somebody who's very militant. This could be somebody with a militant background. Okay, whether that militant background be in this actual lifetime, in the physical, or in past lives. Okay, there's a natural feeling of safety and security when you're with this masculine, regardless of how brief the interactions may be. Okay, and the feeling is mutual. This person feels safe. They feel like they don't have to worry about somebody trying to sweet talk them but steal from them simultaneously. As soon as they turn their back, they don't have to worry about nobody, just having ulterior motives and stuff like that, or trying to overtake them. Okay, with you. They don't have to worry about that. But it's a reason why that was mentioned. It's a reason why this person is able to make the comparison, because they have been around individuals like this. And another thing too, when y'all reconnected, what made you so problematic when reconnected, because you was helping this person expand their empire. When y'all reconnected, they were seeing this person glow. They were seeing this person experience certain like big successes and stuff like that, like that will put them in a position to lead a group of others, a group of individuals. So that was a problem, because with that being said, when you're actually connected to the person that you're meant to be with, and you have spiritual gifts and you're spiritually inclined, you're going to have dreams, visions. You're going to pick up on energy that's around that person that's trying to harm them. You're going to pick up on that naturally. That's a part of the Empress position. Again, with, that Libra and that Taurian energy from the Empress, we're not just the fertile beings. We don't just feed and grow and expand the garden. Okay, we're not just able to grow any seed that you give us. And that's why we have to be very clear and conscious about that when people are trying to feed us or bring us seeds of discord, bring us seeds of anger and rage, bring us seeds of confusion, lack of self-love, low self-esteem, insecurity. They're trying to toss those seeds from their garden, okay, from some type of fruit that they bared. They're trying to toss that over to your garden and want you to accept the seeds blindly and grow them or allow them to grow, and then thus eat up your healthy, I don't know why I want to say offspring, but your healthy fruits. Okay, almost like one bad apple spoiling the bunch type of thing. Like that's the energy. That's the type of timing that they've been on, right? Yeah. So again, this is why it is critical for us to be discerning about the plants and the seeds that we're offered. Because think about, shit happens, right? Like weeds and stuff like that. Let's talk about weeds because weeds are not completely something you have to, or they're not completely non-usable. Okay, let's say there's some weeds that grow up in the garden and stuff like that. So dandelion, okay, but again, what comes with the Empress energy is a deep knowing, a deep understanding, like about these things. So as the Empress, okay, even as the Queen of Pentacles, okay, or any of the queens, whatever. But as the Empress, you understand, like I say, you're just able to discern that no, these are not just weeds because the the masses say so, okay, or the ooh, dang spirit, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that because that's gonna be triggering to some people. Again, there's a hierarchy where we're talking about Empress and Emperor energy, kings, knights, pages, right? So to the mass, to the people who are not the Empress, who are not in an Empress, Emperor position, king, queen position, right? A lot of them may have a group think type of mentality. And just because so many people are saying it, they're going to count it as truth, right? Opposed to energies like Empress, Emperors, Queens, Kings, they're going to count it as truth if God say so, if God has proven it to be so, right? So yeah, all these people are saying, oh, these are useless weeds. They're just in the way and messing up the garden. You have to understand, like, no, these are dandelions, okay? These are dandelions. This is what we can do with it. This is actually really good for your liver health. Okay, we can make some coffee with this, some healthier coffee. We can make some tea. We can even add this to our salads and just, gain so much vitality through this dandelion. Like literally, look at, the fact that it's yellow, is represented by yellow solar plexus energy. Okay, it has the power to blossom into something else that can expand and basically float wherever. Because a dandelion starts as what? A dandelion starts off as a little yellow flower, and then over time, it turns into like the little fuzzies that we always liked as kids that we would pick up and make wishes with. And we'll blow the little seeds because that's what it is. We will blow the seeds, and those seeds expand, and then there's an abundance of more dandelions. Okay? So we have that understanding where they don't. Okay? So yeah, plot twist. Plot twist. And here's another one too. Oh man, that's gonna be very unfortunate. The fact that all this bad health magic is going back already. The fact that it's going back, especially when they're already using the energy from their health being bad already, whether that be their mental health, their emotional health, their sexual health, physical, whatever, chakra. It doesn't matter. Heavy emphasis on attacking the crown fucking chakra. Y'all, out of all the candles that I burned, were just my healing word and my defense. My crown chakra candles burn twice as quick as any other color or chakra that I work with. My crown, so this time, I had to double up and stuff because they were burning out. Like they were, we're talking about like a 7-day candle, okay? I'm talking about a 7-day candle burning out in a matter of like 2 days, 3 days. What the fuck? That's not normal. So Another thing, that people may try to demonize, like, about candle work, when it's used properly, when it's used with respect and the upright, it's very telling. It's very telling, especially, like, let's say you have a candle lit and you pray a prayer. Okay, watching the flame, the way that the flame dances. Okay, when certain energies are mentioned, or thought of, or certain things cross your mind, like paying attention to the flame, and as well as the speed of how that candle is burning. Candles can even make certain noises, right? Like crackly noises and stuff like that. Like, again, a person who's just, they share the common group think mentality about most things, they won't have that discernment and that understanding about that. If anything, it's that energy of demonizing something you don't know or understand, you know? Hello, you guys. But yeah, that's the energy for sure. So I'm definitely needing to protect your crown. It was crazy. I was supposed to get my hair done yesterday, and she had to reschedule because something happened with her phone and her car. Now, again, these are not just coincidences. When these things either happen to us or people around us or who may be temporarily connected to us, it's not a coincidence. Again, like I said earlier, when it comes to disruption spells, if you have closed all access points for them to directly create some type of disruption energy within you, they're going to go to the people that you're going to have some type of connection with. So boom, she wasn't able to do my hair yesterday. Cool, but and also the fact that it was like some of, like, these are two things that we are heavily reliant on. Okay, we're talking about her phone and her car. You get what I'm saying? And the problem with her phone and her car was due to somebody else, not even her, right? So all this stuff, somebody's trying to attack that. Somebody, you could have been experiencing some type of errors or malfunctions or whatever with your phone. Some of you guys had to replace your phone. Somebody was trying to connect. Somebody was trying to affect your clientele, your connects, your I don't know, like it's just it's something, because you're not somebody who's just completely wasteful with your devices. You're somebody who's actually, like, you really doing something, and you're being prosperous or whatever this is, right? So they're intentionally sending disruption spells out of envy because they're jealous of that. They're jealous of of somebody's hustle. They're jealous of people's hustle, so they're trying to attack. I got two phones. They're trying to attack people's phones. They're trying to attack people's vehicles. Okay, vandalism can be significant as well. Okay, I was picking up on the energy of somebody trying to throw some type of dirt recipe or graveyard, whatever. Somebody trying to throw something on somebody's car or whatever. Like, I was picking up on all that. Okay, and that's what grinds my gears. These people will do all this research about this dark magic, black magic, love spells, binding spells, okay? They will do all of this thorough ass research on that shit, and not even thorough enough, because if it was thorough enough, they will understand that they shouldn't be engaging in that shit. They will understand that, hey, you're actually doing this to yourself. Hey, you're doing this to yourself. But again, same as the mentality, the groupthink mentality about weeds. Oh, weeds are problematic. They're messing up. They're messing up my other plants. Blah 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 blah. I don't want them sprouted all over my yard. Okay, you don't want something that is healing and aiding to your health and your body to abundantly grow in your yard when you can literally just step outside and create something to heal and aid yourself or a loved one. You don't want that. You rather just go to a pharmacy. You rather just, okay, bet. Again, it's about people's level of spiritual intelligence and understanding, right? Yeah. Yeah, but the main target, the main intention is to try to disrupt your flow, whether this is financial, because obviously if you're not feeling well, right, you can't really perform or show up, as fully as you need to. This is what somebody is banking on, and that's fine. But guess what? These karmic energies are more, they resonate with the frequency of performative more than anything. Putting on fronts, right? Living a lie. With that being said, okay, you're wanting to create bad performance or disrupt performance in the Emperor, in the Empress, the Divine Feminine, the Divine Masculine. Okay, bet. But you resonate more with that frequency, and so it's only going to go back to you even more quickly. I've been using the word. I've been using the word. Dang, Kodak has said it expeditiously. I've been using that word a few times today. So I don't know about somebody thinking they about to sit back and watch. Um, but yeah, they about to sit back and watch themselves figure out a way to heal and aid themselves or to recover. Okay. They're about to sit back and watch themselves miss out on opportunities because they wanted you to miss out on opportunities. Okay. They about to sit there and watch themselves raging out or something backfire on them, somebody raging on them because they try to create that type of energy around you. Yes. Because let's think about how generally how people go about things. Like even when it comes to praying about something, right? There is much effect and benefit from praying about something once and just leaving it alone, leaving it up to God. There are some things where you need to do a series of prayer, right? Depending on the situation. If I'm being completely transparent, I was told that I would have to fight for this masculine. Hear me out. Not the typical fighting for a man, fighting over a man. Is definitely not that. If anything, fighting through prayer as we should do and be as women for our masculines. And likewise, but it's more so, it's heavy emphasis on a woman's prayer, okay? Why? Because the water, the earth, the fuck? If it was just masculine energy and masculine energy alone, this shit would burn the fuck up. And it's a reason why we see a lot of chaos and disruption when there's an imbalance of feminine and masculine energy somewhere, how it manifests in our environments, how it manifests throughout people's connections. Okay? It naturally is natural ingredients for a disaster. Think about it. Like even with, the weather or how certain conditions, like whether it's polluted, like something is like the air quality is polluted due to like some type of factory and stuff like that. That stuff, like these little things. So let's say a factory that's just, or cars that let out all this exhaust and stuff like that and affected the air quality. Global warming energy, like it can stir up and throw things off in the weather, right? And that's literally how we are. We're literally that reflective of nature. Notice I didn't say earth, I said nature, meaning all the elements as a whole. So if somebody is attacking somebody's crown chakra, somebody's trying to get you to ruminate over thoughts that are not true or send you false visions and stuff like that to put you in fear, to make you anxious or create some type of anxiety within you and self-doubt, that's someone polluting your air quality. That's somebody unleashing some type of exhaust or poisonous energy into your air, thus affecting the seeds, the plants that feed off that oxygen to grow. God is so good, because all these examples that we were given, like even through science, you know what I'm saying? I watched a video when somebody says science is literally the understanding of God. Whether these people are conscious of that or not, let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when people did these experiments, like for example, I always like to bring up the water experiment, the glass of water, as well as the plant experiment. When you put the plant, you have the same quote unquote conditions for both plants. The only difference is that you speak positive affirmations to one and negative things or insults and, to the other one, and seeing the effect of the growth rate. And it was phenomenal, like just the differences. Like the plant was literally dying from, all these negative spurs, like, things that was being spewed out to it, opposed to the plant, which you are a plant, you're a plant, you're a tree. It's not coincidence that when we talk about our ancestry and wanting to learn all of our whatever nationality and ethnicities and stuff like that, is a reason why they call it the family tree. It's a reason. Um, so yeah, hmm plot twist. And I've been hearing that all day, and I've been trying to figure out when I was gonna make a video or finally post a video about it. And the reason why it is like this message was slightly delayed today was because of just the aches and soreness and stuff, and me just feeling under the weather. Um, And that's another thing too. So what God is bringing to my attention, when you think about what I just said about the air quality, right, and how it being negatively impacted by something that's unleashed within that environment, okay, that doesn't necessarily attest for the actual weather conditions or the weather or the quality of the air, the quality of the earth, the soil, the water. That doesn't necessarily mean that on its own, by itself, it's just already polluted. Meaning, why can we still be affected by bad health magic or blah 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 shit like that, right? Because at the end of the day, like that's something that's within your environment. Okay, it has nothing to do with the quality of your elements and how your elements express itself. It's about what you're exposed to in your environment that affects the quality thereof. So this is why they have to approach it that way. Confirmation through Chala. This is why they have to approach it that way. They're also telling me, some things are painful but necessary. Okay. And they showed me literal childbirth. Some things are painful yet necessary and leads to, it leads to satisfaction or success or it leads to something that is good ultimately. Like whether the in between parts seem bad, seem awful. Now, how did I get that message? Spirit gave me that message because a part of my massage, I got glute work done. So I'm a massage therapist. For those of you who don't know, glute work, as in your glutes are the largest muscle on your body. So it is necessary or it's beneficial to get glute work, so to speak, or get your glute muscles massaged because you have your three main glute muscles that are superficial, that are what we see, like that ass, that ass. Those are the three superficial muscles, all right? That's closest. Superficial literally means closest to your skin, okay? And then your deep muscles are the muscles that lie underneath the superficial muscles, the muscles that are really, really doing a lot of the work. You know what I'm saying? Like when people have sciatica and piriformis syndrome and stuff like that, those are the glute muscles that are underneath the primary glute muscles that most people are knowledgeable about. Everybody knows about the gluteus maximus. Everybody knows about the gluteus minimus and, whatever. But a lot of people don't understand their anatomy on a deeper level. Okay. So anyway, I said that to say that, I had got very much so needed glute work today. Like I have very tight glute muscles and a lot of it comes from just, improper body mechanics with working, and also because I work out, I do high intensity workout. When I work out, I do full body, which may consist of hip thrusts, deadlifts, pushing the sled, stuff like that. Like, but I do a lot. And so my glute muscles was really tight, and yeah, I knew I needed glute work because I was even like trying to do it on myself, and I did, but I really, really needed somebody else, a professional, to do that for me. And y'all, it was very painful. So for those of you that want to explore that, because we're talking about your root chakra, we're talking about your sacral, so it is very beneficial to get glute work. Just know that it's not a comfortable feeling. It's very painful to get glute work, to release tight muscles in the glutes is very painful. But the benefits after are literally visible. Let's say, like for example, your ass can be fatter than what you realize because you got tight glute muscles. So you get glute work and they loosen up those muscles. You're like, God damn, that ass. Yes. So even though it was painful to get it done after the fact, you get what I'm saying? You're happy with the results, right? And not even just like the visible results, but how you feel. You feel better. right? Again, your glutes are the biggest muscle on your body, and it's very responsible for support of the body, right? So yeah, yeah. So some things are painful, but necessary. Okay, this could even be reflective with whatever connection where there's some type of no contact or some type of discordance or severance or separation place. Some things are painful yet necessary. Now, y'all can be the type of people. I'm talking about you and this masculine. Y'all can be the type of people where y'all may test people. Y'all may test people, and the testing is more so for your safety and your security. Like, are you somebody that I can trust being around me? Are you someone that I can trust with certain information? You may take a while before you can find certain information to certain people, right? Can I mute this real quick? I'm about to blow my nose. Give me 1 second. But yeah, y'all can definitely be the individuals or the type of people that test people, put people through a series of tests, just to validate or to ensure that there's someone whom you can bring into the empire or bring into certain rooms within the empire. It's kind of like Moses. So Moses, his story was the Pharaoh has sent out a call for all boys, all baby boys to be murdered. And so his mom basically put him in a basket and everything and sent him over the river for his safety, like to protect him. And so the Pharaoh's wife or something like that, or somebody connected to the Pharaoh had found him, and they raised him up as their own. There was a situation. I think this is Moses' story, or was this Joseph? No, 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 no. This was Joseph. This is Joseph. I'm trying not to confuse him. This is Joseph's story. This is Joseph's story. Okay. Joseph's story was he was betrayed by his brothers and they sold him into slavery. And as a slave, he started off being a slave and, scrubbing floors and all this stuff. But, Joseph was very, very handsome. He's clearly a divine masculine. So he has the God's light, on his countenance, which is like your face and everything. So the wife of Pharaoh felt tempted by by Joseph's attraction, and his magnetism, his good looks, as well as his good nature. And she tried to tempt him into betraying his character and betraying the Pharaoh. And he escaped. He escaped from her. So there's heavy emphasis on integrity here about what you do when nobody's watching, how you conduct yourself when no one's watching. Somebody actually takes this into consideration. Even if there may be a level of mystery to a person, somebody takes that into consideration. They're not just some asshole out here. They're not just some regular degler. They're not just a king that may slip up like Solomon. They're not just no, like this is emperor energy. There's a lot more that's at stake. Meaning, you have to be mindful of how you treat certain individuals whom God has made it clear to you. This person is of God's. You have to be mindful of how you treat people because there can be spiritual consequences. This is somebody who's experienced spiritual consequences by going against God, going against their character, or going against their better judgment. This is somebody who already has a rich history of that, that lesson and that wisdom. And another thing too, how some girls will get messy and then, they overshare things that should never be shared with other women and stuff like that. Like, for example, talking about somebody's sex game. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck they got to do with everybody else? That's nobody's business. And that's the thing too. That's carnal. That's more so carnal like energy opposed to sacred. So there's something about you guys approaching just sexual energy or your sexual energy with sacredness or a desire to sanctify it. A strong desire to sanctify yourselves, a strong desire to treat something as sacred, to be attentive and mindful of how somebody makes your body feel. Okay, maybe even compared to how someone else or whatever made your body feel, but just being very conscious about that. So this is somebody, even if someone has an awareness that there's been like sexual intimacy between you and this person, this could be somebody who defined it as casual because they engage in casual sex. That's who they are. So somebody was hoping that they could kind of, swindle this masculine or you into that energy, engaging in just casual sex energy. So this is the reason. This is the reason why I mentioned when all this stuff came out about HIV, like in the South and shit, Texas, Houston, Atlanta, New York, the Carolinas, all this shit. And the timing, some of you guys could have, this separation could have occurred like before all these numbers started being spewed out. So there could have even been like energy sent to this person to try to get them to slip up so they can infect them with something parasitic or something that would attach something to them so that they can easily be fed off of type shit, opposed to manifesting and prospering into this expansion and this empire. Okay, so them feeding off this person could be trying to feed off their finances, trying to feed off their opportunity, trying to, destiny swap with the feminine and just receive that protection, that security, that love, that whatever. Okay. Yeah. I'm getting like, you guys are very powerful. Regardless of your experiences, like through religion or like church hurt, shit like that. You're not that person that just completely turn your back on religions or Christianity, or you just completely demonize the concept of church and stuff like that. You have a balance. Okay, we're talking about Empress energy. You have a balanced perspective, Libra energy of how these things actually are. You can identify and recognize, okay, this particular person, these particular people, this bloodline can be problematic, within this environment. However, the environment itself, church itself, religion itself isn't necessarily bad. It's more so about how these people are expressing themselves, because keep in mind, whether people reach the spiritual level of Empress level for themselves or Emperor level for themselves, at the end of the day, we're still reflections of nature. At the end of the day, we're composed of all the elements. At the end of the day, we're always creating. Whether consciously or unconsciously, where everybody is always creating. And that's why you have people who create recklessly. You have people who create aimlessly. You have people who don't take their time and due diligence to, be intentional about their creations. You have people who lack the patience, you know what I'm saying, to manifest a high quality of whatever they're creating, whatever they're reproducing. Again, like we said earlier in the video, most men, most women are deceived, or they take the bait. They fall for the okie doke. Like, you wave some money in their face, wave some type of money, or pussy or sexual favors, right? Man, they can't stand you. They cannot stand y'all, for real. They cannot stand you. Only when you're taking the bait that they're offering. Oh, they love it then. They feel powerful. You know what I'm saying? And this blindsided, so you guys could even been blindsided with some type of uproar, emotional uproar between you and a special person. You could have been blindsided by this. And equally so, the energies that were involved with stirring the pot, okay, they've been blindsided by y'all's special effects. They've been blindsided by who you really are in the spiritual realm, your spiritual ranking. They've been blindsided by just how loved and close to God you are. Because God don't receive everybody's prayers. God don't receive everybody's prayers, just like we choose not to receive, to communicate or to interact or engage with all people. You'll have several people who are interested in you, may want to date you, talk to you, okay, but you have to be selective and discerning with, whom you grant access to. And a lot of us are at a place where we can discern people's energy, we can discern their intentions, okay, through nonverbal and verbal communication. How often, more than not lately, that you're thinking thoughts of certain things and then shortly after it manifests? Or somebody say something that's like confirming whatever you just thought of or whatever download you just got. You know what I'm saying? Confirmation though, like, I forgot to mention. So I had called a friend of mine. We was on FaceTime earlier. And I was just being my typical, goofy self. And she was like, oh, you don't got your crown covered, right? Because I'm a head wrap queen. Like I wear head wraps. Even when my hair is done, I wear head wraps. Even when my locks were long, I wear head wraps. Because I do it intentionally and purposely to protect my crown energy. Because obviously I'm someone where people try to crack it, they try to fracture it, they try to get it to leak, they try to feed off of it. It's very alluring because it's coming from God. So I understand that. But what you're not going to do is think you're going to be a devil to me to steal from me. Okay? Because as I've said in previous videos, Satan energy is not a creator. Satan energy are thieves. They can't create nothing. They're not authentic. They're not organic. They're not original. They just steal from somebody else and try to wear it as if it's them. They just steal from the original energy, and they may pollute it or use it for adverse reasons or reactions. You know what I'm saying? Yep. But yeah, she had mentioned like, dang, you don't got your crown covered. And I had to like think about that. Like, you know what? You're right. Why do I not have my crown covered after I washed my hair a couple of days ago? Like, I know better than that. You get what I'm saying? So now I'm sitting here, or, that was able to come through to me, like, just the imbalance in health or whatever. And it's a reason why it's my third eye, where I felt most of the congestion in my third eye area. Like it started from like my sinuses, and it's literally like just the middle of my head, nowhere else on my head, just the middle of my forehead is where I was feeling like the aches and the pains. And the fact, again, I just lit this purple candle, I think yesterday, and it's already halfway burned. Those are not coincidences. And I don't give a damn what lies somebody spew out, or they try to, oh, you're demonic, oh, you're possessed, because they've even sent people to your platforms and stuff like that to do that. You know what I'm saying? Bro, these people are just, I'm sorry, but they're not that bright. Literally, they're not bright. But you are divine beings. You're literally the light. So let your light shine on these motherfuckers moving in the shadows, in the dark, and identify exactly what the fuck they're doing. Plot twist. Not only identify, but generate a solution to protect your empire, to protect what's yours. So again, no. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, rulers of the darkness, spiritual wickedness in high places. Therefore, put on the armor of God. Girt your loins about with truth. Where are your loins located? By your sacral. Your sacral chakra, your seat of intuition, your gut feeling, your gut instinct, your discernment, your inner ocean. There's a difference from polluted water and how it affects the growth of something compared to purified waters and how it affects the growth of something. I'm going to tell you something too. Something that's very visible. You ever paid attention to, let's say for those who've actually given to cheating on somebody or, betraying someone, like, to the degree of like no return, they get convinced or swindled or tempted, right, out of their blessing, out of the individual who had purified waters for them. Think about when they start consuming these polluted waters by whatever temptress or succubus or incubus that was able to swindle them. You ever paid attention to how people look, like the difference? How they look so much better when they're with the person that's more divine, that's actually healthy for them, opposed to the person, the Jezebel energy, the incubus energy, whatever. The whoremonger, whatever. The gluttonous, the greedy, the envious, the covetous, whatever. You ever paid attention to how that affects people's outer appearance? It affects your appearance. It can affect your health. It can affect your mental health, your perception, how you govern yourself, how you conduct yourself, or the lack thereof. Because it's literally poison. When you're poisoned, you're liable to, you're not going to be yourself. When you're poisoned, you're in survival mode. When you're poisoned, certain things kind of shut down. So your body, immune system can attack whatever it is that's trying to invade you, right? Let me tell you this, and this is also a part of my dream. So before I move on to the next thing, definitely cover your crown. Cover your crown when you go to sleep, okay? For my masculines, do-rags, whatever. For my feminines, your headscarves, your bonnets, whatever. Some men wear bonnets too. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But it's very beneficial to cover your crown when you sleep in a dream state, when you're in a dream state. And then there's going to be certain days when we have to discern when we need an extra covering over our crown. So me, yeah, definitely should have had my crown covered the past couple of days. So it is what it is. We're able to identify the error of our ways, okay, and move accordingly and overcome things swiftly. Whereas when that energy returns, they have to sit and soak in it for a while. Why? Because a lot of them don't have the spiritual wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, the solutions, the real solutions. They don't really have it. If anything, they may invest in temporal solutions like, oh, let me take ibuprofen. Wow, we're going to have some echinacea. We're going to have some golden seal. We're going to have some elderberry, some melon. We're going to have, some honey, citrus, mint, tea. We're going to hydrate. Okay, we're going to be mindful of our electrolytes, things like that. We're going to be intentional about what we eat as a result of there being some type of imbalance, right? So yeah, but they don't really have, they're not really there. They're not really there. They're more so grounded in the group think type of thing because the false reward system of group think or collective perception, right? The shallow things, okay? And it's a reason why Spirit had me mention like superficial muscles and deep muscles. Because a lot of people are not aware of their deeper muscles that are underneath their superficial muscles. The muscles that we see, like, when we look at each other, like it's easy to see those muscles. There's muscles underneath those. A lot of people don't have the knowledge and understanding of that, right? Surface level. Another thing too, somebody was trying to disrupt your maintenance, like your beauty maintenance, your self maintenance, whatever you do, just to upkeep yourself. That's what the disruption was targeting as well. So again, like I said, I was supposed to get my hair done yesterday. Something happened with her personal item, so she wasn't able to do it. So she was supposed to do it this morning, and she basically stood me up. Yes, she stood me up. Wasting my time, wasting my gas, shit happens type shit. Now, that's not stopping, me from getting that task completed. I'm just not about to go into detail type shit, because some motherfuckers that be watching me are literally the individuals that I'm speaking on, that I'm literally depicting. Okay? Because there's nothing deep about you. There's nothing deep about these low vibrational karmic energies. Like, it's very predictable. They're very predictable. There's nothing mysterious about them. No matter how much they try to be mysterious, there's nothing mysterious about that. Mystery energy comes with God. Right? So that's why some people may naturally deem you as mysterious. And you don't be in everybody fucking face. You don't be trying to be seen by everybody. Like, you're the type of person, you just get seen. Shit, you low key walking through, and no, like, it's undeniable how people notice you. You can be feeling like shit. Like today, I wasn't feeling that good, and I still had all these men checking me out and stuff like that. I just had on my work uniform, and I wasn't feeling well, so I'm like, I probably look a little pale in the face. I'm having to breathe like kind of out my mouth a little more. I don't feel 100%, but still getting checked out, by these different men and shit, type shit. So, yeah, it's literally like that. It's literally like that. Another thing too, there could be some type of business opportunity or an opportunity for expansion, because something about the timing is heavily significant. They try to launch this during some type of timing of some type of expansion or some type of growth. Okay, it's not coincidental, but that's okay, because return to sender. And I close whatever portals and access points that you were able to locate to send or cast that energy permanently across all timelines, dimensions, in spirit and in flesh. For every lifetime moving forward. Permanent. This is a permanent decree. However, I return that energy back to them and may it stick onto them until they do their due diligence to transmute it. Nah, we use our words very wisely over here, okay? Because we understand the responsibility that comes with leadership. Follow me? Yeah. So while they're sitting there trying to hex you and curse you, okay, think about this. Think about how people try to blame that on you and say you're the one hexing and cursing them. Are you? Or are you just simply taking the seeds that they're trying to offer up to you and you're denying them? You're denying the seeds. You're denying the plants. You're rejecting the seeds. You're rejecting the plants that they're trying to offer up. But then they try to flip the script and say that you're cursing them, you're hexing them, no. I'm taking the energy that you tried to give to me or offer up to me, and I'm rejecting it. I'm returning it back to you. No, thank you. No. Any wise person would understand that they shouldn't plant those poisonous ass seeds. Type shit. Yes. Yep. But another thing too, you guys may find yourself communicating with these people telepathically, like these karmic energies trying to rise up against you. Sometimes debates and spiritual warfare can just fully take place on the spiritual plane or like telepathically, especially when they can't necessarily reach you in the flesh. They try to reach you in the spirit, but they don't have enough tact and refinement. When they do that, when they try to play games in the spirit or project things, they're on your territory. They're on your territory. So again, it doesn't matter what type of spells, what type of black magic, what type of dark magic, whatever that they were able to successfully get away with doing with all these other people that boosted their confidence or their ego or made them feel like they were invincible or they were powerful, false sense of power, blah, 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 whatever the fuck. At the end of the day, when you try to attack an emperor, an empress, king, queen, whatever, on the spiritual plane, you're on that person's territory, meaning more than likely you will not succeed. Meaning that emperor, that empress's line of defense, their military, they're going to run right through you. They're going to run right over you. You're not about to get through this army. You're not about to get through this military. You're not about to get through an emperor or empress's line of defense easily. It's not happening. And in most cases, they never do. In most cases, they never do. Why? Because they're trying to war with your spiritual army with weapons, with carnal weapons, with weapons of the flesh. I feel like in comparison, that's literally like some type of balloon gun, like a balloon animal gun compared to like the big guns type shit. That's literally what it's like. When they try to war with your line of defense with carnal weapons. What the fuck is that? You might as well just lay on the ground and say, kill me. You might as well, because it's equivalent to that. You're not going to get through that divine feminine, that divine masculine. You're not going to get through their army. You're not going to get through their military. You're definitely not going to get through Archangel Michael, bitch. So, there's that. Yep. And some of y'all, like, Archangel Michael guards y'all very closely. And that's a big man. Like, he big. He powerful. He, you know, heavyweight. Heavyweight. Shaking my head. If you're watching this, yeah. You remember that? Heavyweight? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any fucking way. Yeah, somebody wanted y'all to be too prideful for reconciliation, too prideful to be soft, too prideful to be loving, or even trying to invert your aggressive energy that you need, that is a part of you because you're running the empire, trying to use your own aggression against you to destroy yourself, to tear down your own house with your hands, like Solomon said, right? But think about how that does not make sense. So when you think about the hierarchy, no offense, but I'm going to say peasants, right? I'm going to say peasants. When you think about the hierarchy, with the empress, the emperor, da 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 da, like, it's just, oh my God. Return to center. I retrieve that back. When you think about the hierarchy, it makes no sense for you to tear down your empire or tear down your castle, meaning you're going to fall a few notches. You're going to drop a few levels, meaning you're going to put yourself at a level of, these, more peasant energies. Now, when I'm saying peasant, we're not abusing the word peasantry, just like poor people and stuff like that. When I say peasants, I'm talking about spiritually. I'm talking about people who are void, who are, if any of you guys ever seen Bleach, the anime, I'm talking about hollow beings, okay? That's what I mean by peasants. So, like Solomon said, a woman, a foolish woman, tears down her own house with her own hands, right? Somebody wants you to be foolish so bad. Somebody wants you to be in a uncontrolled emotional state. So you can tear down your defense. You can tear down your castle and bring yourself down to their level so that they may actually have a real chance at defeating you or deluding you or whatever. So why would you do that? It makes no sense. No, you're going to stay up there and you're going to continue overseeing. Okay. You're going to put out these decrees to your army, your military base. Okay. There's an intruder. There's a traitor. You're going to identify and discern for the better good, the better judgment, the safety and security of your motherfucking empire, including other people. We're not just sitting up on these thrones to be looked at and seen and admired. We sitting on these thrones because we're truly delegating with integrity, because we're actually chosen by God. You foolish woman, you foolish man. You foolish peasant. And what you won't do, Jester, is project that onto me. You can't even reach me. Make it make sense. You can't reach me. Now, can you quote unquote play on our compassion? Absolutely. Because we're down to earth. That's one thing we are. We are down to earth. Because we're overseers. So we actually genuinely want to help. We actually want to be of assistance, right? We actually value servitude of others. We're not just the ones that's being serviced and that's it. No, it's a transactional dynamic. If we're going to put these things in place to ensure the longevity, the endurance, the security of an empire where there's a lot of families, a lot of people involved here, come on now. No, we're not sitting on these thrones drunk. We're sitting on these thrones sober-minded. The fuck? Y'all, they just showed me one of my favorite childhood movies. But I don't want to talk about Cusco. I love Cusco. His little arrogant ass. Cusco was arrogant as fuck in the beginning. Oh my God. I love Cusco though. I love that movie, The Emperor's New Groove. So something about that is significant. Okay. Yzma, what's the big guy name? Crunk? I don't know. Oh my God. I might have to watch that tonight. But you see how energies Yzma was trying to destiny swap so desperately with Cusco. Okay, and she did whatever she needed to do to possibly complete that. She played like she gave a fuck about him. She tried to barter with him. She, even all while plotting and scheming in the background with Crunk or whatever. Who, I mean, he supports it. I feel like Crunk is an example of somebody who's not really conscious fully of the seeds that they're watering, that somebody is bringing to them or bringing them into. I feel like he's like that. I feel like he have his in and out moments where he's like, hold on, wait, this isn't right, but because he was conditioned for so long by this traitor, you get what I'm saying? He was poured into with these polluted emotions and polluted air, polluted elements, right? It literally changed the nature of who he was, his inner world, right? And so now he's just a minion. There's a lot of people who are minions. This karmic feminine, karmic masculine, they had some minions. They had some minions of their own. Those people that they were able to give some type of false narrative to and then try to send them towards you to harass you. Minions. And you know what's going to be devastating is for when those individuals watch you and they hear what you say and they find out who they actually have been spiritually, it's going to be very triggering. It's going to be very triggering. But hopefully they survive that bullet. Because the shots are fired. Why? Because you should have never fired this way. 2, because I have an empire, a legacy to protect. So the shots will be fired back. And we're not missing. We're not missing. So there's that. I want to say this about that dream too. In that dream, now this feminine, she could not see me because I was levels above her, but I could see her. I could see everybody on the lower level. I see all of them and I hear everything they doing. She and here. So the nature of this karmic feminine could be somebody who's trying to play like they're shy and bashful and quiet and innocent. Da, 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 da. Let me tell you, like I said in my last video, a prayer that I prayed yesterday, daily exposure that is out of their control of all traitors, any energies that are working against me, working against my divine counterpart, whatever, counterfeits, pretenders, daily exposure that is out of their control. Now, I talked a little bit more about that on my last video in detail, what that may look like, right? People blinded by their own delusion and don't realize that they're exposing themselves to people who actually can see. They really can see, right? Spiritual eyes. Like that female that's talking about somebody doing beauty magic on her. And the two comparison photos, one of the photos was her natural bare face, and the other photo was a full beat face of makeup. And she said that she tried to say that her bare face was a result of the beauty magic and the beauty spells. No, that was just your bare face. And you're dealing with some inner delusion, okay, and you don't like yourself. That's actually what that is, okay? And then you're trying to borrow real life testimonies and spiritual warfare, okay, that people innocently have to deal with and go through, and they don't actually deserve that, okay? There's so many different versions and varieties of how people masquerade themselves as light, okay? Even if that's masquerading themselves with your story, your background story, your testimony, the fuck, your experiences. Shaking my head. Why? Because they watch you that fucking much. I would see why. I would see, why your energy, or why an emperor is very alluring. They clearly stand out from the rest. Clearly. And just like the moon in the sky, right? When you think about an empress or an emperor on their throne, they're higher up. Okay? You look up and you see them. Type shit. Their shine, their illumination is undeniable. Ooh. But what I wanted to say about TMI, what I wanted to say about earlier before I took a nap, and how while laying down, it's like my nipples were very tender. And mind you, it's like my sinuses that's congested in the middle of my head that hurts. But I didn't notice that anything, was irritated about my nipples until I laid down. Which is mainly due to like dehydration and shit like that. And also energetically, it's due to there's energy going on in the crown and the third eye. And so the next chakra, yes, you have your throat, but your heart chakra is basically like that tenderness through the nipple, so to speak. It basically a test for your heart chakra opening itself up to receive, okay, to receive healing, to, whatever, right? Anything that happens with our body is also happening. Something, it's an underlying, or it's the result of an underlying manifestation of our spirit. Okay? Or something that's going on in the spirit realm. Yeah. Yeah, but so they got the right one type shit. They got the wrong one and the right one at the same time. Because these are people who was getting away with doing things to people in the spirit realm who weren't quote unquote conscious of, how to defend themselves, or even know that this type of thing or this happens in the spirit realm. People who are, unfortunately misguided, ignorant, whatever the case may be, and they don't really have that understanding of us being spiritual, having a natural experience. You know what I'm saying? So unfortunately, they get attacked easily, swiftly, okay? And don't let them be attractive, okay? Don't let them have money. Don't let them have something that, that low vibe karmic wants. Like, it's easy to swindle these people. Like, it's easy to read them, to study them, and figure out what to use, what kind of weapons, what kind of carnal weapons to use to overtake this person. Whether that be lust, whether that be greed, whether that be flattery, whatever, right? And that's why I like how Solomon talks a lot about the things he experienced as a result of vanity. Like, he's very thorough and clear about, things to be aware of, through his vanity. So thank God for his wisdom. Even though he had this dark phase or whatever, he was able to communicate, from a wise perspective on all of these errors or these mistakes, these slip ups, or so to speak, right? And you still have your ignorant ass group think individuals who would sit there and be like, oh, well, Solomon had multiple wives. Solomon, had multiple females. He was polygamous, da 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 da. And they use that to justify a narrative that, they want to make excuses for, or that they want to validate for themselves, right? In regards to their lifestyle choices. Don't you hate that? People just try to take one portion of something and they disregard everything else, especially the conclusion. Because the conclusion, even though Solomon may have been tempted, the conclusion of it all was These things still being used for our good, or God still being able to use this for our highest good. Now, thankfully, before the success, before all of that, Solomon prayed the prayer of understanding of people's hearts. He prayed for wisdom. So even though, he was tempted and stuff like that, he still had a prodigal son moment. He still came to himself. When you're chosen, you're not going to be, God is not just going to give you a little pat on the wrist. No, because in most cases, we do know better. Let's talk about it. In most cases, we know better. So you're not going to get a little, oh, stop that. No. God gonna wring your ass out. Wring you clean. Okay? We talking about the potter. Okay? We talking about mold me into something new. Renew, put in me a renewed spirit. A renewed mind. A new spirit. Right? We're talking about a being that can change your entire appearance. Literally. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's confirmation. That's another thing that's been going on too. That's been triggering these beings. Despite their beauty spells, or despite, whatever emotional disruption, mental magic, whatever that they've been doing, every time they see you, you just look better. You look better, you're doing better. Every time. That's very triggering. Why? Because they rely on materialism. They rely on themselves solely to transform their appearances. And in most cases, it's through shallow and vain means. It's another thing to go to God directly and say, hey, God, I would like for you to heal this about me, or to improve this and that about me, mold me into something even more beautiful. And the beautiful thing that these karmic energies realize too late is that they're literally giving you like the fuel. They're giving you they're just offering up ingredients that you're just going to take and alchemize. So they don't even realize until it's too late that through their focus, their envy, okay, their evil eye, whatever the case may be, they don't realize that they're actually fueling your beauty. They're amplifying your beauty. They're amplifying your prosperity. They're amplifying your confidence. They don't even realize that until it's too late. That evil eye, no, you're actually giving a substance, a malleable substance for this alchemist, this emperor, this empress to transmute. So you want that person to be ugly, to have skin defects, and for their hair to fall out? No, their hair is going to grow more rapidly, actually, and thicker. Yep. No, their skin is actually going to glow and brighten and smooth out, and whatever hyperpigmentation or whatever, that could have been present, it's going to smooth. Their skin is actually going to heal expeditiously. Their body is going to transform in a short amount of time. So you know how there's different body, different, like there's a metamorph, I believe. And it's just like, I think it's like 3 different body designs, so to speak, whatever, that people fall into. Mesomorph, something like that. And I want to say mesomorph, or one of them is somebody who can gain weight fast and lose weight fast. Somebody who's generally athletic in their build, their stature. Okay, so they're able to, if they were to gain weight, they're able to get rid of that weight in a timely fashion, or quicker than most people, right? So it's giving that energy. It's giving that energy, and something that they keep trying to get me to forget to mention. Okay, so what? So there could be a reconciliation in the near future, right? And like I said, somebody wants to disrupt your maintenance, your upkeep of self and stuff like that. Like whatever you do to maintain, just your beauty regimen, whatever. Somebody's trying to disrupt that because somebody could be coming towards you soon. And they want you to appear like you're the lesser option, right? Based off appearances and shit like that. But what somebody failed to realize is that this is an organic love. This is a spiritual union. It's a spiritual love. This person loves you whether you're waxed or unwaxed. This person loves you whether your hair is quote unquote done or not. This person loves you whether you have a breakout or not, right? Because God or this person experienced the similar things. Y'all mirror the spiritual warfare and attacks that y'all experience because of your status spiritually, because of what you're put here to do. Y'all experience similar warfare, so they get it, they understand it, and so they're not superficial or shallow if you get a breakout. They're not superficial or shallow if your hair is not done. They're not superficial or shallow if you don't shave or if you don't wax and stuff like that. This is somebody who genuinely, organically loves you. They love you on a soul level, and they love everything about you. And vice versa. The energy is mutual. So even when they did like beauty spells or ugly spells and stuff on this masculine, you could experience this masculine having like significant breakouts out of nowhere. Okay, but here's how the Empress should show up for her Emperor, right? You provided solutions, right? You suggested solutions to help heal and aid and renew this person's skin and, stuff like that. Okay, whether through like literally telling them like some things that they can do, like physically, as well as praying for the person. Okay. And another thing too, y'all's energy is kind of neutralizing to one another. That's another reason why they want to keep the divine masculine and feminine apart. Y'all energy kind of help neutralize things within your energy for one another when y'all come together type shit. Ew. But yeah, that too. But yeah, and this is why, when people are like in love and it's a healthy love, it's a safe love, this is why they glow and all that stuff. Okay, if they was having some type of imbalances in their weight, that's going to mellow out and stuff. That's why. So that's another reason why this discordance was just so eminent, why it was so critical for these people. But in that dream again, right? Mind you, I'm on the highest floor. Those friends or whatever, they're on the lower level trying to, keep this person lesser than or lower or vibing low. So this is why the masculine in my dream was on the lower floor with all these other people. It's a group of people. They're trying to bombard his energy. It's a reason why it always takes groups or two or more people to come up against us to even attempt to put us out. It's a reason why. We're talking about unquenchable fire. We're talking about that type of anointing. This masculine has that kind of anointing. You have that kind of anointing. This is why it takes so many blankets, so many cloaks to surround us or try to put out our light. But again, let me finish. So in that dream, mind you, remember I said the karmic feminine was on a few levels higher than the overall group on the lowest level. But I was levels higher than her. So I can oversee her and I can oversee that group in the masculine. None of them could see me until I revealed myself. So what somebody is going to have to realize is that they're just a part of, they're actually a stepping stool. They're actually being used for this masculine energy to rise up, and not in a way that, oh, she's helping him like positively, but no, a stepping stone, a stool. Just like God said he would make your enemies a footstool, even though she was supposed to be a secret weapon to finally sift this masculine as weak. She was just a fucking stepping stool to get where? To the energy that's above her, which is the Empress. Oops. But thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your contribution, you fucking fool. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are, man, I'm telling you. Y'all are dope. Y'all are dope. DOPE. Thank you so much for helping him find his way back to me. Thank you so much for... Oh, God. Shaking my head. But just like that Empress energy or the Pharaoh's wife, just like how she was trying to sleep with one of the slaves and stuff like that. Somebody wants you to do that. Somebody wants you to feel so desperate for intimacy and attention and stuff like that. They want you to just forsake preserving yourself, just sitting on your throne and paying attention to the empire. Okay, other things that still needs to be done. despite, you know, whatever disruption. There's still things that need to be done, right? For the highest good of not just yourself, but others. Somebody wants you to give in, like, to some, you know, like a lower level energy. Somebody wants you to do that. Now, mind you, we know Joseph was far beyond that. However, it's just the analogy of it, right? At the time, the title, he was a slave. He was a lesser than. And this woman already had a whole fucking husband, and not just a husband, but a pharaoh. So what I'm getting to, another part of Joseph's story was how he kind of fell in love while he was quote unquote still a slave, right? There was somebody in the royal priesthood who, you know, favored him, you know, and he favored her. You know, they were divine counterparts, even when he was still a slave, before he advanced. And she had a lot to do with that. Like, she could foresee that. And also, her involvement in his life was to fuel him, feed him so he grow and expand, you know. And she was very intentional about what she gave him. It's like when he got arrested, when he got thrown away because the Pharaoh believed his wife's false accusations, she accused Joseph of raping her, right? Or attempting to rape her and shit. So while he was in there, y'all remember how he grew a plant through the concrete? He grew a whole tree through the concrete, fasting and everything. But the girl that he ended up marrying, she would come and bring him fruit to feed him. Like, she would sneak it to him, like sneak him fruit. And I feel like this is what y'all are doing with this masculine, or with your divine masculine. You're sneaking him fruit that is vital to his growth and his health. Something that's strengthening him from the inside out, that's strengthening him, not just his flesh, but energetically. This is why a lot of people talk about the importance of food from the land. A lot of people talk about the importance of vegetables, fruits, grains, all this stuff that grow naturally from the land, opposed to animals or flesh. It's the reason why there's this dynamic or diverse views on that energy, right? So no, she didn't bring him no chicken. She didn't bring him no oxtails. She brought him a basket of fruit while he was in jail, something that can really feed his vessel, his mind, his emotional body, and his spirit. And she snuck this shit to him. This is what y'all are doing with your prayers. This is how your prayers are manifesting for this masculine. Yeah. And more than likely, vice versa. Yep. So even that, we can even count that as like a little separation phase, right? Because they were separated from each other because he was locked up for some time. Until what? Until he was needed? Until he was needed, because he was known to be a dreamer, a seer, a chosen one, a true emperor. So yeah. But that's what it's given. It's given, there was some type of compassion, kindness, exchange from this masculine to this karmic feminine. And even though he was coming from a genuine, organic place, this person was definitely trying to tempt them into doing something that they don't want to do. And this masculine rejected this person. Like, so this could also just be sex. A masculine rejected having sex with somebody. And she was so triggered that she went on this little, you feel me? Went on this little campaign, this slandering and defamation, and yeah, trying to ruin somebody's reputation, or trying to ruin something that they actually desire or want for themselves, okay? Or something that is a key to their empire, their expansion, their growth, their prosperity. But all right, you guys, that's all I have for you. I will see you on the next video.